This little green one here seems to need a home. I don't know, Charlie Brown.
Remember when Christmas on TV didn't mean jumping between 5 streaming apps? It meant you had one chance each year to watch Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the world's saddest little tree. A Charlie Brown Christmas first aired on CBS in December 1965, bringing Charles Schulz's comic strip characters to television. Charlie Brown, Lucy, Linus, Snoopy, and the rest of the gang jumped from the newspaper page into animated TV. What was meant to be a one-time experiment became a tradition that lasted for decades, replayed year after year, until it felt less like a TV special and more like a family member who shows up every December, whether you're ready or not. Today we're looking at 15 strange and wonderful facts you didn't know about A Charlie Brown Christmas. From the network's panic, to the music the executives tried to hide, to the product placement sitting right out in the open. Now, before we open all of that, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives into the shows and specials we grew up with. And share this video with a friend who still hums Linus and Lucy the moment they see a small, scraggly Christmas tree. Now, let's start the countdown with number 1. The network thought they had ruined Christmas. When CBS executives watched A Charlie Brown Christmas for the first time, they didn't relax and enjoy its gentle charm. Instead, their reaction was more like, "My goodness, we've ruined everything." They believed the whole thing was a disaster. The slow pace, the real children providing the voices, the unusually calm music, and worst of all, the lack of a laugh track.
No. Listen, all of you. You've got to take direction. You've got to have discipline.
In 1965, that was almost like a serious crime. CBS truly believed they had a lump of coal instead of a hit. But here's the crazy part. They had to air it anyway. Why? Because the network had already promoted the special on TV, radio, and in print. The airtime was already set. The sponsors were locked in. And December programming wasn't something you could rebuild from scratch at the last minute. Pulling it would have meant admitting they had spent weeks hyping a show they now wanted to hide. So CBS clenched their teeth, crossed their fingers, and aired it.
Hopeless, Charlie Brown. Completely hopeless.
Rats.
And then 45% of America tuned in. Viewers loved it. Critics loved it. What was expected to be a disaster instantly became a holiday classic. And CBS quickly acted like they had always known it would succeed. It's amazing what a little too much promotion and having no backup plan can do for television history. Number 2. Charles Schulz drew a line in the snow and refused to budge. Now, if CBS executives thought they had suggestions, Charles Schulz had rules. The creator of Peanuts went into A Charlie Brown Christmas with a list of demands that could not be changed, and he treated them like they were written on stone tablets. And honestly, thank goodness, because every firm no on that list is exactly why the special still works today. First rule, no adults pretending to be kids. Schulz demanded that the Peanuts characters be voiced by real children. This was a shocking idea in 1965, when most kids on TV sounded like heavy-smoking theater actors doing fake baby voices. Schulz wanted real emotion, not adults raising their voices like they were trying out for Alvin and the Chipmunks. The second rule, no laugh track. A bold move for the time, yes. But back then, network comedies depended on laugh tracks to survive.
My own dog gone commercial. I can't stand it. Oh.
They were almost required by law, but Schulz hated the idea of a machine telling people when something was funny. He wanted the awkward pauses, the sad moments, and the real emotions to speak for themselves. The third rule, yes, they were getting religious. Deal with it. Schulz didn't just allow Linus to recite the Gospel of Luke, he insisted on it.
And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night, and lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them.
To him, the true meaning of Christmas was not optional, and he refused to compromise. The executives panicked, but Schulz stood his ground. Without that speech, the special would have been just another holiday cartoon. With it, it became a classic. Schulz didn't push these rules to be difficult. He pushed them because they were the heart of Peanuts. Number 3, the kid actors who weren't actually actors. Now, if you've ever wondered why the Peanuts gang and A Charlie Brown Christmas sounds so real, it's because none of those kids were acting. Literally, they weren't actors. They were just kids. Regular, unpolished, sometimes distracted California kids who had no idea they were about to be part of TV history. Producers Lee Mendelson and Bill Melendez didn't hire trained child performers. No professional voiceover stars. No sitcom kids who could hit a line perfectly on the first try. Instead, they went to local schools and the families of the production staff, picking up children who sounded genuine. Mistakes, mumbles, pauses, and all.
I think there must be something wrong with me, Linus. Christmas is coming, but I'm not happy. I don't feel the way I'm supposed to feel.
Peter Robbins as Charlie Brown, Christopher Shea as Linus, Tracy Stratford as Lucy. These were kids who often read their lines like they were doing homework, and honestly, that's exactly why it worked. Here's the thing though, some of them couldn't read at all. Kathy Steinberg, who voiced Sally, and Christopher Shea were too young to get through the script. So Melendez gave them each line bit by bit and had them repeat it back. The engineers then stitched those tiny pieces together like a cute audio Frankenstein. That clipped, halting rhythm everyone remembers wasn't a style choice. It was just how they managed to get it done.
I remember when I went into audition, I was 7 years old, but even at 7, I did still suck my thumb, and I did have a blanket, and I did use that.
And all of this was recorded in just one day. One chaotic, wonderful day of short attention spans, kids running around, frayed patience, and Melendez doing everything short of juggling to keep things on track. He famously said directing them was like trying to direct rabbits. But the end result? Pure charm. It gave the Peanuts gang a sound no other animated show had. It was awkward, emotional, sometimes halting, and always real. It's exactly what Schultz wanted. Real kids trying to understand a world that didn't always make sense. In a decade full of squeaky clean sitcom voices, the Peanuts cast sounded like your real classmates.
Think of it as maybe the soil of some great past civilization. Maybe the soil of ancient Babylon.
If your classmates accidentally helped make one of the greatest holiday specials ever.
Number 4. The jazz soundtrack that CBS tried to bury. These days, a Charlie Brown Christmas soundtrack is basically holiday air. You hear Linus and Lucy, and suddenly you're 8 years old, sitting cross-legged on the carpet, wondering why your parents keep yelling about tinsel. But that famous jazz music, the thing that makes the special, almost didn't make it to TV. The whole story started with a taxi ride. Producer Lee Mendelson was in a San Francisco cab when he heard Vince Guaraldi's "Cast Your Fate to the Wind" on the radio. By the time he got out, he decided this was the guy who should score Peanuts. Totally random and totally lucky. Guaraldi agreed to compose music for Mendelssohn's documentary, A Man Named Charlie Brown, a documentary that never aired but left behind a treasure of demo tracks. Not everyone liked it at first. Some people on the production team thought jazz was too calm, too grown up for a holiday special about kids. They wanted something livelier, basically the musical version of Saturday morning cartoon commercials. So, Bill Melendez did what any good creative rebel would do. He used the jazz demos anyway, in secret. While others imagined flutes and xylophones, the animators were planning the scenes to cool West Coast jazz. And something surprising happened. It fit perfectly. The gentle sadness, the breezy piano riffs.
All of it matched Schultz's tone so naturally that by the time anyone noticed, the jazz was the special. Schultz approved immediately. To him, the music felt honest, the emotional glue holding the whole story together. Then came the special. Then came the album. Then came history. The 1965 Vince Guaraldi Trio soundtrack became a holiday phenomenon. Not just successful, but one of the best-selling jazz albums of all time. Christmas Time Is Here, Skating, O Tannenbaum, all instant classics, now practically required to play in every store between November and January. Decades later, the album was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. Guaraldi didn't just score a TV special, he introduced millions of kids to jazz without any of us noticing. He made Christmas sound sophisticated, even if we were holding juice boxes while we listened. CBS tried to stop the jazz, but now Christmas doesn't sound like Christmas without it. Number 5. Linus drops the blanket and reveals the whole meaning of Christmas. Linus's blue security blanket is almost its own character in the Peanuts world. He carries it everywhere, he sleeps with it, he fights Lucy for it like it's the Hope Diamond. Basically, it's the comfort item every Gen Xer wished they could have brought to middle school. But in a Charlie Brown Christmas, that blanket becomes more than a running joke. It becomes the heart of the whole special.
Get rid of that stupid blanket. What's a Christmas shepherd gonna look like holding a stupid blanket like that?
Here's the moment. Charlie Brown, having one of the worst holiday seasons of his life, which honestly is every holiday season for him, finally snaps.
Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about?
And Linus, the quiet kid, the thinker, the one everyone underestimates, steps forward, asks for a spotlight like he's about to give the most important TED Talk of 1965, and starts reciting the nativity story from the Gospel of Luke. Then it happens.
And they were sore afraid, and the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people.
At the words, "fear not," Linus lets go of his blanket on purpose. For a character who never drops that thing, not even when he's asleep, this is the closest Peanuts has to a mic drop. It's also the only time in the whole special you see him without it. Schulz wasn't subtle here. He wanted viewers to feel it. Linus isn't suddenly cured. He's not over his fears. He's setting them down because, in that moment, the message gives him a kind of security deeper than anything he can hold in his hand. It's the simplest, purest metaphor in the entire special. Hope cancels fear.
Well, this is one Christmas shepherd who's going to keep his trusty blanket with him. See, you wouldn't hit an innocent shepherd, would you?
And in true Peanuts fashion, the blanket makes one last appearance, but not for Linus. After the kids tease Charlie Brown's tiny, needs CPR Christmas tree, Linus gently wraps the blanket around its trunk and says,
Maybe it just needs a little love.
Translation: even the smallest, weakest thing can stand tall when someone believes in it, and yes, that includes Charlie Brown. One blanket drop, one perfect metaphor. One of the most quietly powerful moments in TV history. Not bad for a kid who still sucks his thumb. Number 6. The special CBS thought would fail ended up winning TV's biggest award. CBS executives spent weeks pacing the halls, sure that A Charlie Brown Christmas would be the biggest holiday disaster since fruitcake. But the moment it aired, America loved it, and so did the critics. First came the Primetime Emmy in 1966 for Outstanding Children's Program.
The winner is in Hollywood, A Charlie Brown Christmas. Lee Mendelson and Bill Melendez producers.
Producers Lee Mendelson and Bill Melendez brought Charles Schulz on stage with them, where Schulz gave the perfect Peanuts-style acceptance line. Charlie Brown is not used to winning, so we thank you. Then came the Peabody Award, praising the special's gentleness and its sensitive, true-to-life portrayal of the Peanuts world. High praise in a time when most animated TV was loud, frantic, and forgettable. The awards weren't just shiny decorations. They showed the special wasn't a lucky accident. It was something different, something meaningful, something families connected with immediately. The success made CBS quickly order more Peanut specials, including It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, opening the door to decades of holiday traditions still airing today. What CBS thought would be a disaster instead became a cornerstone of American Christmas. One Emmy, one Peabody, and one very relieved network at a time.
Number 7. Snoopy's famous red doghouse started out blue. Everyone knows Snoopy's doghouse is red. Bright, bold, ready for merch red. You've seen it on lunchboxes, t-shirts, holiday decorations, Halloween specials, and the 2015 movie. It's everywhere, except in A Charlie Brown Christmas, where it's blue. Yes, Snoopy's world-famous red doghouse actually began as a chilly blue cabin in the very first Peanuts TV special. And it wasn't a mistake, it was a plan. In the black and white comic strip, Schulz never gave it a real color, which gave the animators total freedom when they first brought Peanuts into color TV.
What's going on here? What's this?
And because early color TV was basically a technical nightmare, red was the last thing they wanted to use. On 1960s televisions, red tended to bleed, hum, or look like someone had smeared ketchup on the screen. So the team chose blue, a cooler, cleaner color that stood out beautifully against the snowy backgrounds and didn't confuse early color TVs. For that one special, the blue doghouse became part of the Peanuts winter look. But in later specials, It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, Thanksgiving, and Everything After, the doghouse settled into its permanent red color. By the time merchandise took over the world, blue was gone, and Snoopy's house became officially fire engine red forever.
So, while the doghouse is red now, and in almost everything you've seen since childhood, its TV life began in blue, a small piece of Peanuts history hidden in plain sight. And if you remembered it as red in the Christmas special, well, that's just the power of Snoopy branding at work.
Number 8. The special literally invented the annual holiday TV event. When A Charlie Brown Christmas premiered in December 1965, CBS thought they were showing a one-time curiosity, a nice little cartoon that might get decent ratings and then disappear forever. Instead, it accidentally created a whole new type of television, the annual holiday special. Before this, animated shows were usually one and done. They aired, then vanished, and that was it. No reruns, no traditions, no families gathering around the TV waiting for a certain night. Animation was disposable. Then Charlie Brown appeared and changed the rules. The special was such a huge, unexpected hit that CBS immediately made it a yearly broadcast. And in the era before VCRs, cable, or streaming, this was a big deal. If you wanted to watch A Charlie Brown Christmas, you had one chance, one night a year, and families planned their schedules around it. People literally circled the air date in the TV guide like it was a dentist appointment they actually wanted to go to. That's where the term appointment television really began. It wasn't just a show anymore, it was a ritual. And that ritual changed the entire holiday TV landscape. Networks suddenly realized that a great animated special wasn't just filler, it was dependable, repeatable ratings gold.
One of the first things to ensure a good performance is strict attention to the director. I'll keep my directions simple.
Other networks followed the example, turning shows like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, and How the Grinch Stole Christmas into yearly traditions instead of one-time broadcasts. Holiday programming as we know it today exists because of that. That cozy lineup of specials you can almost recite by heart exists because one humble, melancholy kid and his tiny tree proved that animated stories could become seasonal events. Today, instead of circling the TV guide, we just open Apple TV+. But the tradition Charlie Brown started hasn't gone anywhere. He didn't just save Christmas in the story, he accidentally changed Christmas on television. All right, we're gonna take a quick pause here because I need to know, who's your favorite Peanuts character and why? Drop it in the comments. And while you're there, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss our next retro TV rabbit hole.
Number 9. The kids' dance scene was pure chaos and pure genius. If A Charlie Brown Christmas had a greatest hits album, the dance scene would be track 1. The moment Vince Guaraldi's Linus and Lucy kicks in, the whole special turns into the most legendary elementary school dance party in TV history. Head-bobbing twins, existential shoulder shrugs, and whatever Shermie is doing with his arms. But that perfect little burst of holiday joy has a surprisingly strange origin story. First, Charles Schulz didn't even want the scene. He imagined the special working like the comic strip, quiet, thoughtful, with lots of talking. Dancing wasn't really part of that world. Bill Melendez had to convince him that the show needed some real motion on screen. Luckily, he won, because otherwise Shermie's arms would still be at his sides where they belong. And here's the best part. There was no choreographer. None. Zero. The animators just drew whatever they thought kids would naturally do. The kind of confident little wiggles and off-balance shuffles every grade schooler does with complete sincerity. Those dance moves weren't planned. They were just doodled, and somehow they became iconic. Even the background dancers have their own story. The two girls bouncing in perfect unison? Those are the 3 and 4, twin daughters of the 95472 family. Schultz's inside joke about suburban life that nobody noticed in 1965. Oh, and the spinning dust cloud? Pigpen, naturally the only character who can dance and kick up dust at the same time. This scene also saved the animator's sanity. The special was made on a tiny budget and a brutal 6-month schedule, so repeating dance loops gave them lots of movement without having to draw new animation for every frame. It was the ultimate "we're running out of time, make it adorable" solution. And here's the secret. Everyone is dancing a little offbeat. Guaraldi's jazz rhythm is famously tricky, syncopated, uneven, and impossible to clap along to unless you're a trained musician or lying. The kids' slightly off-kilter moves actually fit the music better than perfect choreography ever could. It's messy, it's charming, and it's childhood. The result became one of the most parodied and beloved scenes in animation history. A perfect mix of improvisation, shortcuts, and pure Peanuts chaos. And yes, the second we heard that piano riff, we danced a little too. Number 10. Charlie Brown helped end the aluminum Christmas tree craze. Before A Charlie Brown Christmas aired, aluminum Christmas trees were everywhere. They were shiny, modern, space-age, the Jetsons of holiday decor. A stylish way to say, I love Christmas, but I also love the future. And then Charlie Brown walked in and wiped out the entire trend overnight. In 1965, fake aluminum trees were the holiday status symbol. Gleaming silver branches, rotating color wheels, the whole mid-century futuristic vibe. Families bought them to feel modern and sophisticated. They were the Instagram aesthetic before Instagram even existed. Then the Peanuts gang came along and gently torched the whole idea on national TV. Charlie Brown walks through a lot full of flashy, artificial, perfectly made trees and immediately sees them for what they are: commercial, cold, and about as warm as a fridge. He picks the saddest, scrawniest, most pathetic real tree on the lot, a stick with aspirations, because it's authentic, imperfect, honest, everything the aluminum trees weren't. America got the message. Sales of aluminum Christmas trees dropped almost immediately after the special aired, like literally off a cliff. By the next year, the trend was basically dead. Today, aluminum trees exist only in vintage shops and the basements of people who never throw anything away. Charlie Brown brought back the real tree tradition in a single, beautifully awkward moment of holiday sincerity.
Number 11. A Charlie Brown Christmas was a last-minute miracle. Was it really animated right up until airtime? Well, not literally hours before, but close enough that every animator involved deserved hazard pay. The whole production was a full-scale scramble from day one. Coca-Cola sponsored the special late in the year, giving producer Lee Mendelson and animator Bill Melendez about 6 months to write, cast, record, animate, score, and edit a full half-hour of television. In 1965, that was like asking someone to hand-carve a statue while sprinting.
Pigpen, you're the innkeeper. In spite of my outward appearance, I shall try to run a neat inn.
They delivered the finished special to CBS just 10 days before its December 9th premiere. In TV terms, that basically meant we're airing this thing whether it's done or not. The remaining 9 days were spent frantically fixing sound, tightening edits, adding music cues, and hoping nothing went wrong. The final scene, the kids decorating the tree and singing "Hark the Herald Angels Sing," was finished at the very last possible moment.
Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown! Hark the herald angels sing.
It was the animation version of finishing your homework while the teacher is already walking down the aisle collecting papers. Even the creators thought they had ruined it. When Mendelson and Melendez watched the rough cut, Melendez reportedly sighed, "My golly, we've killed it." But the truth was the exact opposite. Under a deadline so tight it might as well have been gift-wrapped in panic, the team somehow delivered a holiday classic that's still airing nearly 60 years later.
Number 12. Peppermint Patty isn't in A Charlie Brown Christmas, and that's the whole point. Peppermint Patty is one of the biggest stars in the Peanuts world. Baseball legend, sandal wearer, confidence machine. So you'd think she'd be front and center in A Charlie Brown Christmas, right? Nope, she's not in it, not even a little. Here's why. Peppermint Patty didn't exist yet. She wouldn't appear in the comic strip until August 22, 1966, almost a full year after the Christmas special premiered in December 1965. So the special only has the original neighborhood kids, Charlie Brown, Lucy, Linus, Snoopy, and the early supporting cast. But there is a Patty, and this is where the confusion comes in. The girl with the bow in her hair dancing with Violet during the famous kids dance scene is the original Patty, one of the earliest Peanuts characters. Totally different personality, totally different design, and honestly, not nearly as interesting.
Come on, try, Chuck. Try to explain love. Well, say I happen to see this cute little girl walk by, and What does she have to be cute, Chuck, huh?
The original Patty quietly disappeared from the strip once Peppermint Patty arrived, with actual character depth, a softball glove, and the world's most committed pair of sandals. And the confusion doesn't stop there. Peppermint Patty is so popular that later merchandise, posters, and even DVD covers sometimes sneak her into group shots for A Charlie Brown Christmas, even though she was never in it.
Entire generations grew up thinking she was in a special she never actually appeared in. She is the Mandela effect of Peanuts characters. So the strangest Peppermint Patty fact about the 1965 Christmas special is simple. She was never there because she wasn't born yet.
Number 13. Lucy Van Pelt was inspired by Charles Schulz's real-life wife. Lucy Van Pelt, queen of fuss budgets, football yanker, unlicensed psychiatrist, and part-time dictator, didn't come out of nowhere. She came straight from Charles Schulz's real life. Lucy's real-world inspiration was Joyce Halverson, Schulz's first wife. They married in 1951 and were together for nearly 25 years. And according to friends, colleagues, and biographers, Joyce wasn't just similar to Lucy, she was Lucy. Strong? Absolutely. Opinionated? Very.
I know I should be happy, but I'm not. Well, as they say on TV, the mere fact that you realize you need help indicates that you are not too far gone.
Always ready to tell you exactly what should happen and how. Yep, that's a check. Biographer David Michaelis described Joyce as assertive, organized, and sometimes overbearing, someone with a clear vision for everything: household decisions, daily logistics, creative debates, you name it. Meanwhile, Schulz was quietly introverted, anxious, and avoided conflict. Sound familiar? That dynamic, the thoughtful Charlie Brown paired with a commanding Lucy, didn't just appear in the strip by accident. It was happening in Schulz's house every day. Schulz knew it. He once admitted he funneled his sharper thoughts and frustrations into Lucy because he didn't feel comfortable showing that side of himself in real life. Lucy became his outlet, the pressure valve his personality needed. He even used the term fuss budget to describe both Lucy and the inspiration behind her, someone a little bossy, a little demanding, always in charge, and never wrong. And it worked. That Lucy energy became the backbone of so many classic Peanuts moments, including A Charlie Brown Christmas, where she basically runs the entire Christmas play like a tiny stage tyrant. So, the next time Lucy charges 10 cents for psychiatric advice or yanks the football away from Charlie Brown, remember, Schulz was writing from experience. Number 14. Snoopy runs the whole special without saying a word. While Charlie Brown is out looking for the meaning of Christmas and maybe a little self-esteem, Snoopy is quietly stealing the entire show. He doesn't speak a single word of English, yet somehow he's the most expressive, energetic, and downright entertaining character in A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Listen, all of you. You've got to take direction. You've got to have discipline. You've got to have respect for your director.
And the behind-the-scenes story makes him even better. First, that voice. The yips, giggles, snorts, howls, the dramatic mix of sob and laugh Snoopy does when he's really over the top. Every bit of it came from director Bill Melendez. He recorded himself making pure gibberish, then sped it up until it sounded like a beagle who got into the holiday punch.
It works perfectly. Then there's Snoopy's role in the story, the most delicious irony in the entire special. While Charlie Brown is complaining about the big commercial Christmas, Snoopy immediately joins a neighborhood decorating contest to win prize money. He creates a massive display of blinking lights and over-the-top decorations like he's auditioning for an early episode of Holiday Wars. Charlie Brown's reaction says it all.
My own dog gone commercial. I can't stand it. Oh.
It's perfect. Snoopy is literally the embodiment of everything Charlie Brown hates. The animators loved working with Snoopy too, way more than the human characters. Charlie Brown's perfectly round head was a geometry nightmare. Lucy's was even worse. Every design had to stay exact, which slowed everything down. But Snoopy was freedom. He could squash, stretch, roll, leap, twirl, fly. He was a rubber band cartoon in a world of math problems. That's why he gets all the best action moments: the skating wipeout, the doghouse decorating frenzy, the solo dance-off. He was the animator's playground. And here's a tiny detail most people missed. In the original 1965 broadcast, Snoopy stands with the kids during Hark the Herald Angels Sing, and his mouth actually moves, like he's singing. Adorable, yes. Canon-breaking for Peanuts? Also yes. So, later airings quietly fixed it so Snoopy just smiles instead of belting out Christmas hymns. Snoopy never overshadows the message of the special, but he absolutely steals every scene he's in. He's charm, He's chaos, and he's the only dog on television who can win a decorating contest and ice skate better than most humans, all without saying a word.
Number 15. The original broadcast was packed with Coca-Cola product placement. Here's a twist worthy of a spit take. A Charlie Brown Christmas, the special famous for criticizing the commercialization of Christmas, originally aired with Coca-Cola product placement built right into the animation. Not as ads, not as bumpers, but inside the actual show. Let's start with the opening scene. You know that classic moment when Snoopy grabs Linus's blanket and spins Linus and Charlie Brown around on the ice? In the version we all know, Charlie Brown flies into a little tree. We assume Linus flies too, but we never see that part. The shot cuts away before we see him land.
But those who watched the original 1965 broadcast did see it. Linus slammed directly into a Coca-Cola billboard, perfectly framed like it was part of the story. When Coke's sponsorship ended, that shot was removed, which is why the modern version suddenly jumps away and Linus disappears, like someone deleted a frame. And the ending was even more on the nose. After the gang sings "Hark, the Herald Angels Sing," the original broadcast didn't fade to black. It faded to "Merry Christmas from the people who bottle Coca-Cola." Very festive, very carbonated. So where did all that go? Coca-Cola ended its sponsorship in the late 60s, and future sponsors weren't about to give another company free publicity. New FCC rules also required a clear separation between ads and content in kids' programming, so the Coke shots had to be cut, and the editors patched the gaps as best they could. Which leads to the real kicker. Charlie Brown wasn't just fighting holiday commercialism, he was fighting literal product placement built into the scenery. It's so ironic it practically counts as performance art. And there you have it, 15 weird and wonderful facts about A Charlie Brown Christmas. Which one blew your mind the most? Which one did we miss? Let us know in the comments below. Hit like if this brought back all your favorite childhood Christmas time feelings, and subscribe for more deep dives into the shows and specials that raised us all.